Hello and welcome. In my 2 decades of running projects, I've noticed one thing that really separates the good project managers from the truly exceptional ones. It's how they think about uncertainty. So today, we're going to move way beyond that defensive crouch of just managing risks. We're not here to just avoid failure. We're here to master the art of actively seizing success. This is all about learning how to turn uncertainty from something you fear into your single greatest asset. Let's get right into the strategies for handling opportunities.
But before we go any further, I want you to think about this question. It really gets to the core of what we're talking about today. What could possibly be the single greatest regret of a project manager who, by all accounts, did a perfect job? They hit their deadlines, they met their budget, they did everything right. So what's the regret? I want you to hold on to that thought, because the answer, which I promise we'll get to at the end, is going to fundamentally change the way you see your job.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to build the foundation with what I call the integrator's mindset. Then, we'll open up the opportunity toolkit and look at 5 powerful strategies. After that, we'll see how to turn vague possibilities into hard numbers. We'll put Agile and Waterfall head-to-head in a methodology showdown, and we'll wrap it all up in the PMP hot seat to really lock in these concepts for good.
Okay, let's dive right in. Now, this is something the PMP exam will absolutely test you on, but more importantly, your entire career is going to be defined by it. See, a project manager isn't just a glorified taskmaster. You are the project's central nervous system, its unifying control system. Your real job is to be an integrator, constantly making those tough strategic trade-offs. And that means you have to get out of a purely defensive mindset where you're only scanning the horizon for threats and start actively hunting for opportunities that create real, tangible value for your organization.
And this right here, this is the heart of the problem. I call it the integrator's gap. This is the silent killer of project value. It's that massive, invisible opportunity cost. We're talking millions in potential savings, months you could have shaved off the schedule, market share you could have grabbed that just vanishes into thin air when a project manager is only focused on hitting the baseline. It is the ghost of value left on the table, and our job is to close that gap.
So how do we actually close that gap? Well, we do it by using the right tools for the job. The Project Management Institute gives us 5 core strategies for responding to opportunities, or as they call them, positive risks. I want you to think of this as your personal arsenal for creating value, not just protecting it.
First up is escalate. And let's be really clear on this. This is not about passing the buck. It's a critical governance function. It's a test of your professional responsibility. As the integrator, you have to be smart enough to recognize when an opportunity is just too big for your project or when it requires authority that you just don't have. Your duty then is to spot it, package it, prove its value, and get it into the hands of the person who can make it happen. So picture this. Your team stumbles upon a new AI application, and it's not just good, it's a game changer. It could literally double the efficiency of the entire company's support division. The problem? The price tag is way outside your project's budget. What do? You don't just forget about it. You write the business case, you gather the data, and you escalate it straight to the portfolio manager or your sponsor. You've done your job by making sure the organization doesn't miss out on that massive strategic win.
All right, next up is the most aggressive, most powerful strategy in your entire toolkit, exploit. This is the one you pull out for the golden opportunities, those high-priority, high-impact wins that are so valuable, you have to make them happen, no questions asked. Exploiting means you are going to aggressively change your project plan to force that opportunity to happen, cranking its probability all the way up to 100%.
And this is a perfect example. Let's say a new software testing tool comes along that absolutely positively guarantees you can shave 30 days off your schedule. You don't just hope your team decides to use it. No way! You exploit it. You immediately fire up a formal change request, you update the project plan, you allocate budget to hire experts who know that tool inside and out, and you officially mandate its use. You've just taken all the uncertainty out of the equation and locked in that 30-day gain. That is proactive, aggressive value creation.
Okay, but what if an opportunity is fantastic, but it's just too big, too complex, or too expensive to chase all by yourself? Well, that's exactly where the share strategy comes into play. This is all about smart collaboration. You form a partnership, maybe with another team, another department, or even an outside company, to go after a win together, sharing both the risks and, of course, the rewards.
Here's a fantastic real-world example. Imagine 2 different teams in your company are building different systems for a new electric vehicle. Turns out, they both need the exact same complex, very expensive Internet of Things component. Instead of each team building their own, which would be a huge waste, they share the opportunity. They create a joint team, they pool their budgets, and they co-develop one superior component that both can use. They save money, they reduce risk, and they create a better product for the whole organization. That's a huge win.
Now, sometimes you can't guarantee a win, but you can absolutely tip the scales in your favor. And that strategy is called enhance. Think of it as the positive flip side of mitigating a threat. You're taking proactive steps to increase the probability or the positive impact of an opportunity by directly influencing what's causing it.
For instance, let's say you're about to launch a new mobile app. The early beta testing is showing surprisingly strong user engagement. People love it. Now, you can't guarantee it's going to go viral, but you can definitely enhance the possibility. You lobby for more marketing dollars to really fuel that momentum. You proactively beef up your server capacity so you're ready for a potential flood of new users. You're not making it a certainty, but you are absolutely increasing the odds of a massive success.
And finally, we have the accept strategy. Now, I know this one can feel a little counterintuitive, but it's an incredibly important strategic choice. It's where you acknowledge that an opportunity exists, but you make a conscious decision to take no proactive steps. This is absolutely the right call for low-priority opportunities or in situations where the cost of going after it is just higher than the potential reward. And it comes in two distinct flavors, active and passive.
Okay, now this slide highlights a critical distinction you absolutely need to know for your PMP exam. Passive acceptance is simple. You note the opportunity in your risk register and that's it. You do nothing else. But active acceptance, that's much smarter. Think about a construction project. You can't control the weather, right? So you accept the opportunity of a long stretch of perfect sunny days. You don't pay to make it happen, but you create a contingency plan. You might have materials staged and ready, crews on standby, permits already pulled. The second that 10-day clear forecast hits, your plan triggers, and you immediately accelerate all your outdoor work. You are ready to pounce. That's the difference.
All right, so now we have our 5 strategies. But the big question is, how do we decide which one to use? And maybe even more important, how do we justify that choice to our stakeholders, to our bosses? Well, we do it by turning all that fuzzy ambiguity into cold, hard arithmetic. This next part is all about using data to make better, smarter decisions.
One of the best tools for this is a force field analysis. It sounds complicated, but it's actually incredibly simple and effective for building a business case. You literally map it out. On one side, you list all the driving forces that are pushing this opportunity forward, things like cost savings or getting a leg up on the competition. And on the other side, you list all the restraining forces holding it back, like high upfront costs or resistance to change in the organization. Your job is to figure out how to strengthen those drivers and weaken those restrainers.
And this is how we prioritize using data, not just gut feelings. To compare different opportunities on an apples-to-apples basis, we use a formula called expected monetary value, or EMV. It's super simple, just probability times impact. So let's say one opportunity has a 50% chance of saving you $100,000. Its EMV is $50,000. A second opportunity has only a 20% chance, but of saving you $300,000. Its EMV is $60,000. See? The math tells you to prioritize the second one. This gives you a single objective number that represents the statistical value of each opportunity, so you can take the emotion out of it and focus on what delivers the most mathematical value.
Now, here's a crucial point. The speed at which you can actually use these strategies depends massively on your project's methodology. So let's put the 2 big ones head-to-head in a methodology showdown, and we're going to focus on one thing. How quickly can they react to a new opportunity and capture its value?
And wow, the difference is just staggering. In a traditional predictive waterfall project, if you want to exploit a new opportunity, you have to go through a formal, sometimes painfully slow, integrated change control process that can easily take 2, 3, even 4 weeks. But in an adaptive, agile world, a new opportunity just becomes an item in the risk-adjusted backlog. The product owner prioritizes it, and the team can start working on it in the very next sprint. We're talking a matter of days. That speed is a massive, massive competitive advantage in today's world.
So what does this all look like in the real world? It really comes down to a choice that every single project manager has to make. Let's look at 2 managers. The first is a tactical manager. He sees a powerful new AI tool, but thinks it's just a distraction from his plan. He passively accepts it, delivers the project on time, but creates 0 extra value. Now the second manager, the integrator, sees the exact same tool and recognizes it as a golden opportunity. She uses EMB to justify exploiting it, gets the change approved, and as a result, finishes the project 2 months early, helping the company grab a huge chunk of market share. Same project, same opportunity, but dramatically different outcomes. It all comes down to your mindset. So, which one are you going to be?
All right, it's time to lock this knowledge in, not just for your exam, but for your career. Welcome to the PMP Hot Seat. We are going to do a rapid-fire review of all 5 opportunity strategies and their negative or threat equivalents. Ready? Let's go.
Exploit is the opposite of avoid. Your goal with both is to make the outcome certain. Enhance is the opposite of mitigate. In both cases, you're trying to change the odds in your favor. Share is the positive version of transfer. You're giving ownership to a third party who's better equipped to handle it. Escalate is the same for both threats and opportunities. You're telling leadership about something that's outside your project's boundaries. And finally, accept is also the same. You see the risk, you acknowledge it, and you decide not to act proactively.
And that brings us all the way back to that first question. What is the single greatest regret of that project manager who delivered perfectly on time and perfectly on budget? It is the integrator's gap. It is the ghost of the value they left on the table. Their true regret is looking back and realizing that while they were so focused on avoiding failure, they completely failed to seize success. Remember, your job isn't just to follow a plan. Your job is to deliver the maximum possible value to your organization. Don't leave that value on the table.